How's it going, rednecks? Today we are here at Shop PN to work on the Oldsmobile 98, and it's going to be a long day. Right now it is 11:15 in the morning, or I guess early afternoon, and what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be lifting this. I don't know how high, I don't know how we're going to be doing it, but we're going to be lifting it. First things first though, I got a bunch of stuff and parts in the back of this. All my tools are in it, so let's get that thing unloaded and see how far this car comes up, because right now it's squatting pretty hard in the back from all the weight. So let's get started. Well, there we go, rednecks. With all the tools and parts unloaded out of the car, the back of the car came up 2 full inches. So right now, from what we can tell, we went around and measured everything. The back is sitting 1 inch down from the front. So I don't know how high, once again, like I said, I don't know how high we're gonna be going. I don't know what we're gonna be doing to this, but our next objective is to take these new safety stands we got from Harbor Freight, get this thing jacked up so we can start dropping the cradle, pulling the rear suspension, and just start working on this. So I don't know exactly how the recording's going to go from here on out. I imagine it's going to be a lot of time lapse, but sit back and enjoy. Well, rednecks, we started tearing the rear suspension apart, and to our surprise, we've already managed to get one of the lower control arm bolts out right there. It came out with an impact very easily. That might be a little bit more of a pain, but what's happening right now is we're getting ready to take the other side apart, and as you can see, I got the impact right there jammed between the exhaust. So we're going to cut it right here, and before we do that, I want to kind of give you a before and after sound of this thing. So I'll start the car up, rev it out a little bit, then we'll cut the muffler off and rev it again and see what it sounds like. I don't know how much different it's going to be, and this isn't going to be how the exhaust ends up being, but yeah, let's get that cut and see what it does.
There's so much fuel.
That's the old muffler, and I'm telling you right now, that thing's loud. My neighbors are going to be super annoyed when I have to move this thing, and unfortunately for them, I don't really care. We just got back from the parts store, and right here, or I shouldn't say parts store, hardware store, we got a bunch of bolts and everything that should make it so we can drop the cradle in the front. And here's the thing, I let these two guys over here talk me into lifting this thing about 7 to 8 inches. So we're going to drop the cradle about 5, and then the rest will be suspension. And to give you an idea of what that's going to look like, that right there is about 10 inches of lift, so it'll be 2 inches shy of that. So yeah, this thing's gonna be freaking crazy. So without further ado, we're gonna get back to work on this thing and yeah, enjoy the show. got a monumental moment going on right now. We got the cradle completely unbolted, and we're getting ready to drop this engine and everything. So I figured I'd get the good camera out right now, and we would videotape this in case something goes horribly wrong. So here we go. All right, I'd say go down, just give her a little bit. On. Oh, I heard something moving.
Yeah, look at the wiring's kind of pulling tight again over there.
This? Nah, it's still pretty loose.
Okay.
It's got play. I think we're just, oh yeah, we're just hitting the inner fender, which is fine. It's just plastic.
3/4 of an inch in the front.
You got 3/4. Let me see what I got over here. I gotta go another inch.
Yeah, we're about the same.
So, go down a little bit. Just it's gonna be a lot of load of this thing.
Yeah. You could have a spare tire under there now.
Yeah, no kidding. I gotta go another inch still. It only moved a 1/4 inch in the front on mine.
I gotta have it.
Let me look everything over here. You clear over there with everything?
Yep.
All right, give her a little bit. Just nice and easy.
Perfect. That's it.
You're at 5?
That's 5 right now.
I'm 4 3/4 in the front, 5 1/4 in the back. So we gotta go down. We'll go down another 1/4 inch. Give her a little bit more, Tyler. And then we're gonna call it. Whatever moves from here on out, we'll call it.
Yep.
That's good. I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure we're set with that. I'm at 5 inches exactly, so I'm happy. Well, there we go, Rednecks. We got the engine drop down to where we have to have it. We got it almost 5.5, 6 inches all the way around. And what we're doing is we're taking all the body, or the, it's kind of like a body mount, I guess, because it's a subframe. They want to get rid of all the road vibrations. What we're going to do is we're going to put a 5-inch square stock in there, and we're going to put bolts and nuts on one side and bolts and nuts on the other side, and that's how we're going to support the cradle. So we're right now busting all that stuff out, and then we're going to get all of our piping right there. Yeah, that big tube right there is that 5x5 square tubing that we're going to be using to space this thing down with, and figured I'd fill you in, and that's what all that hardware, I guess, was for too, the nuts and bolts we bought earlier. So I'm getting pretty excited. It's pretty cool to see stuff like this coming along, and I'll kind of get the camera under there for you guys and show you what it looks like. All right, Rednecks, we've gotten quite a ways since I last checked up with you guys. I ended up getting some food, and if you take a look, this is what our lift is looking like. We're building these square blocks. They're 5 inches tall, and they're 5x4, and we're putting these in right here. What we're gonna end up doing is bolting down through the cradle, so we'll have a bolt going through the cradle, and then we'll have another bolt that's gonna come through, and that's gonna bolt up to our unibody. So we got 2 of those right there, and then up front, we have another one. Let me get a light for you. Or for me, I should say that. There we go. So that one's bolted like that. And that's our unibody going in through there. So we got to build some washers for that. But yeah, for the most part, it's going pretty good. I would say we got a majority of it figured out. I'm really hoping there's a camera right there. I'm relying heavily on that because there's a lot of work that's happening here. And I didn't want to have to be messing around with the camera the whole time, and it's unfortunate for you because I can't give you as many personal updates, I guess. I'm going to rely a lot on that camera, but for the most part, here's the update for the front. We still haven't got a whole lot figured out in the back yet. and we're pushing. I doubt you can see that from here on the camera, but it's 7:45 already, so we got a lot to do, and it's gonna be a late night, I can tell you that. But yeah, we're gonna eat some pizza, and then we're gonna start working on this. So I guess try to enjoy that time lapse. I know the footage isn't gonna be that great, but once again, I'm busy working on this thing, and I can't be screwing around with this camera the whole time. So sorry, and enjoy. All right, guys, we're at another monumental moment. We're getting ready to put the cradle in, and as you can see, all of our parts are in right there. That's our, obviously, once again, those are our plates that we made. Those are 5 inches, and we're getting ready to bring the cradle up. We're gonna run the hilo here, and I'll get you guys set up on the tripod. We'll bring this thing up, bolt it in, and then we gotta get back to work on the rear of this thing again. So we're pretty busy. It's getting late. Like I said, it's already 8:30. It's been another hour since the last update, so yeah, here we go. You got everything tight?
Make sure your jack stands are gonna hit.
Hold on, let me get the,
We're good? Oh, I cut myself good. Well, there we go, rednecks. The cradle's all in, and as you see, it's not that low. It's not terribly bad, so yeah. I like it, but once again, I gotta get to work on this thing, so you guys are gonna just have to keep watching this time-lapse video, and well, rednecks, we're pretty worn out. It right now is 12:41 at night. We got the rear kind of figured out what we got going on. So we had to make our own subframe. So this is the subframe drop. Technically the old control arm bushings used to go right here, and we just dropped them down that far. And as far as the rear struts go, or actually it's just a shock, we had to extend them the 6 inches. So we're technically actually dropping the cradle 7 inches. We're dropping the suspension 6, because we're going to be putting in coil springs that'll give us another about 2 inches, I figured. So I don't want full rebound. I don't want the coils to be able to shoot out. So yeah, I still got to figure out steering. The obviously the steering knuckle, when you drop the subframe, there's a steering joint that comes through the firewall. I got to figure that out yet. We got a lot to figure out. We're worn out. It's unfortunate that I couldn't cover this because of how much work was involved and how little time we had, but we're gonna go ahead. We gotta finish weld that, get it all under there, and hopefully at the end of this video, it might be another day, but I will add on to this. If I don't cover it now, I'll go over everything we did and I'll give you guys a good look at it. So I guess enjoy the time lapse some more, and yeah, you can look forward to that. Well, rednecks, can you tell we're tired? It's 2:20 in the morning right now, but this thing is completely sitting on the ground. It's not where we want it, obviously. We still need to space the rear coils up about 3 inches, and that's what we were planning, 3 to 5. And then the front still needs to be done. We didn't even use the spring compressor over here yet because we got to compress some springs, put another 2 inches of lift in that, but we're gonna have to save that for another day. We're coming back tomorrow. We're gonna load this thing on the trailer, get cleaned up. This place is an absolute mess. So tomorrow, I guess I'll show you around. I'll kind of give you a look at what we did and get you a close-up view and kind of explain a little bit of what we've done, and I guess I'll see you then. Well, rednecks, it's the next day, and we're gonna hopefully finish this thing up, get it loaded up on the trailer, and get it back to my house. But one thing we need to address is this is actually a front strut part. We had to cut off one of the old struts, and I'll show you what we got going on in here. It's quite the mess. So we're gonna get these tires pulled back off, get this front jack back up, and then we gotta redo this front suspension just so we can get it out of here today. And then we just got a buttload of cleanup to do. So I'll videotape us getting this all apart, and then I'll show you what's going on up front. All right, so this is what we got going on in the front. It was kind of a little bad planning on our part. We didn't see it coming, but we ended up putting a plate right here, a piece of round stock, between two strut plates. And the plan was to lift it that way, but what we're coming up with is right here, it's hitting the unibody. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take these guys right here, we're gonna weld them to the bottom of these ones, and then everything's gonna be put back up in the stock location, and that's gonna be our lift for the front. So let's get these struts out, and then we'll get those welded on, and I'll show you kind of this whole thing all together once we're done. All right, guys, what we got going on is exactly what I was talking about. We ended up setting the strut on top of the cut strut plate right here, and as you can see, we got it welded, and that gave us our lift. That put our strut back in this opening so it won't hit the subframe anymore, and that gave us the proper amount of lift. We actually wanted to move this 5 inches, and the distance from the bottom of the plate right here to the top of the plate was 5 inches exactly. So yeah, that's gonna work out good. We got it tacked right now. We gotta pull it out, finish weld it, and then do the other side. All right, rednecks, what's going on in the back here is we are gonna take a spacer plate and we're gonna set it on top of the lower control arm, and then what he's got in his hand there is gonna set on top of that. And that is gonna allow us to lift the back of this. That's what the coil spring sits on. And Andrew here is gonna get that all welded up for us. And thanks to him, and not only him and Tyler there, they've been heroes throughout this whole thing. They've both been here through the whole process, so definitely made my life a lot easier, and big thanks to them. But once we get that welded on, I'll show you what's going on, obviously, the final product and where we're sitting. The front's done too. You'll see that here in a second. No peaks. All right, rednecks, unfortunately I forgot to give you a little viewing of what's going on under here, but I'll send the camera under there and kind of show you what the lower control arms and the cradle that we built look like. So if you take a look, that's what we ended up with for our coil support. So there's our rear coil, and then all of that is our new subframe right there. Those bars that go across, and the lower control arm right here, that bolt used to bolt up there, so that's how we achieved our lift in the rear. So yeah, that took a lot longer than we expected, but it's all done. We're getting everything bolted on, and I'll do a walk around of this thing when we get everything, I guess all the tires bolted on. So yippee! Well, there you go, rednecks. We got the 1986 Oldsmobile 98 all lifted up. We measured it out, and we have about 7 inches of lift in the rear, and we have 5 in the front. We still got to figure out a little bit more in the front. I want to get 7 all the way around, but it don't look bad. I tell you what, it's already 6:40 right now on a Sunday night, so we spent a lot of hours on this thing. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the footage. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and get back to work. Gotta get
the angle of the
Yep. All right, redneck. Stop it. All right, redneck.